Okay, I found this video on YouTube that shows testing for organic molecules using indicators. It does not have any narration though, so I thought I would narrate it for you. So we can go ahead and start the video, testing for organic molecules. The first one they're going to test for is glucose. And the test for glucose, you use Benedict's solution. So what they're going to do is they're going to add this solution. They've got let me just advance they've got two samples here. The one on the left is going to have glucose in it, and the one on the right is going to not have glucose in it. So this will be our positive on the left, our positive result, and our negative result on the right. And you can see over here on this part of the video, they have some heated water because Benedict's solution will not turn color in the presence of glucose unless there is heat added. So he's going to add the Benedict solution to each one of the samples, heat them up, and we should get a color change for the positive and no color change for the negative. So let's go ahead and run the video and you'll see this take place. So you can see they're both pretty blue. Now he's going to move them over. And they're going to fast forward this video. Usually you put them in for about 3 to 5 minutes. And that's enough for color change to happen. And you can see one is turning yellow and the other one stays blue. So the corn syrup is the one that has glucose in it. The salt water solution does not have any glucose. This is actually a pretty light negative. If there was more glucose in here, it would actually turn an orangey color, a really bright orange. But this is a positive result nonetheless. Okay, so that's test for glucose using Benedict's solution. The next one is testing for starch. And to do that, we use iodine. Again, the positive solution is going to be on the left and the negative solution is going to be on the right. So the one on the left is going to have starch. The one on the right is not going to have starch. You do not need to add heat in order to use this indicator. So he's just going to drop it in. And you'll see the color change for one, but not the other. The iodine is already yellowish color. So when it turns that yellowish color, that's just the color of the iodine itself, okay? So the cornstarch is going to be where it starts to turn a darker color. Actually, if we can get it to, hopefully he lets it turn a little bit darker. Yeah, so you can see that one's like a yellowish, goldish color, no change. This one's a darker color. And again, it could be a little bit darker, but it's definitely a different color than the negative. Okay, so this is our positive result and negative result testing for starches using iodine. The next one's testing for protein. And let me see. There we go. That's better. What we usually use is a solution called Biuret solution. And Biuret solution really is just copper sulfate and sodium hydroxide mixed together. For this particular video, they just have the two compounds separate from each other. But when we use it in the classroom, we have it mixed together and it's always tinted blue, a lot like the Benedict solution. So this video is a little bit different than what we usually see in class, but you just add these two chemicals together and they will do the same thing. Okay, so he's going to add in the sodium hydroxide first. And that's not going to result in any color change. And again, the positive is going to be on the left and the negative is going to be on the right. And he's going to add in the copper sulfate. One more drop to each just to be safe. And then you got to kind of mix up a little bit because you still see there's really no color change. So he's going to agitate the test tubes a little bit. And then you do start to see the color change in the positive result. It's kind of subtle, and it's a little hard to see because of the blue tray he has in the background. But when he holds them up against that white background there, you can definitely see a positive result, which is purplish for the gelatin solution, showing the protein because gelatin has protein in it. And then the salt water solution, which does not have protein in it, is still clear. So you can see there. The last test is going to be for lipids. And this is a test that you probably are familiar with, even though you might not even realize it. If you've ever had a paper plate full of potato chips or pizza on your paper plate, you notice that the potato chips or pizza will leave behind a stain, and that is the results of lipids that are in those foods. So they're just going to use a paper bag here, a piece of paper bag, and they're going to drop one drop of vegetable oil and one drop of water on the bag, and you'll be able to see the difference between the two. Okay, so you can see the vegetable oil is leaving behind a stain on the bag, while the water will not. If you actually, they don't do it in this video, but if you were to leave this over time, the water will evaporate and not leave a stain on the bag. But the oil does leave that stain on the bag and it will stay there. And so that's how you can tell that you have lipids in your solution. Okay, I think that is all we're going to be able to see for this video. They give you a little bit more close-up of those results. So this is going to be similar to the virtual lab that you're going to do, where you're going to be testing for different organic molecules. This kind of gives you a more real-life look at what these tests actually look like. And the next thing you're going to do is to do this lab virtually on the computer.